What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Tax. We're here for another episode of Future Perfect. I'm joined by 3 guests this time. Well, 2 of them are just regulars now. Recurring guests and 1 special guest. So we'll go around the room quickly and introduce ourselves. We'll start with my man Byron Morgan.
Hey, this is Byron Morgan from Vinyl Mint. Also the Easel Project, which is a way for artists to express their ideas and creative visions with ad agencies who are looking to place their sounds.
Next guest, please.
Prophet, aka Percussion. You already know. I am because we are. Floor seats, sounds of percussion, Future Perfect, all that, Boston, bonbons, and good stuff.
All right, and finally, our special guest for today. Please introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? It's VND here with We Are Flow Motive. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Word. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
Well, thanks for coming
off the
through.
heels of our beat battle that we had not too long ago.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, I am because we all just had a beat battle. It was on November 12th, and it was live. And this dude, VND, came through. He put a hurting on the competition.
Oh, man.
He put a hurting on the competition.
Listen, I'm gonna just say, man, look, my man,
That don't matter. It's about the mark you left. It's about the
listen, my
imprint you
man
left.
had this vibe, where he was just like, he was chill. And every producer that was there that night definitely had their own spirit, their own form of creating an ambiance, you know what I mean? And for you, like, I think yours was like just this cool, calm, collective, like just smooth, like mature beat. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. I was sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm playing the door, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the event. So I'm the door guy. I'm downstairs. I'm not really paying attention. I don't know who's going up. And then there's like 3 moments where I left the door and ran upstairs like, what's going on? The second time, after the first time I did it was for the boy Miraculous. You know what I'm saying? The boy Miraculous. The first time I was like, whoa.
Facts.
Like, I ran upstairs like, what is going on? Listen.
Facts.
I went back downstairs. I'm chilling, playing the door. A few people come in. And then VND's music comes on. And I'm like, hold on. These samples is like next level. Who found me? Like, this is crazy. And then they ask him like, yo, you played all of this? He's like, yeah. So the whole time I'm running upstairs because I'm thinking like, yo, I never heard no samples like this before. And he's like, nah, it's no samples. I played all of this. He's like, I'm a composer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a composer. So it was real, like, that was real dope, man. That was real dope. And then the third time was for Chronic Tone, man. Shout out to him.
Chronic Tone. That guy is
Yo.
such a like funny dude.
Yeah, he's talented, man. He's brilliant.
He is, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, because like I know him personally. You know what I mean? I met him at Guitar Center. And if for the, like, you guys was at the beat battle, obviously, for the listeners who were there and for those who missed it, y'all shouldn't have missed it. But yo, if you guys see like his character, how he was performing while the beats was playing, you know what I mean? Like his animation, that's how he was when he was working at Guitar Center. And so that's how I met him. And he was like, yeah, I make beats, and started freestyling to them right on the spot. And I'm a hip hop head, so I jumped on it. And when I found out, like, he really like went to school and like got this shit down to a science, like, or something like that. Like, I was like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I found out, I was like, whoa. But like, at the same time, people say that, and you be like, all right, so what you got? Let me hear something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it was dope.
Yeah, I think like me and the agent just kept looking at each other like every time somebody go up, just with the meanest face ever, like,
Yeah.
Like the whole time, like I'm sitting here like going crazy. And I'm like, yo, where's he at? Like, especially like, cause I think it was you and Flo Tiglio.
Yeah.
That was a tough round.
That was a tough round. That was definitely a tough round.
And it was funny.
Tiglio has such an interesting style too, though.
That's what made I mean, I'm glad I wasn't a judge because
I kept saying that.
I'm so glad I wasn't a judge.
I mean, that's why I had to make some hard choices. Like, I definitely during judging, right? From my perspective, I know I made decisions in that battle that most people weren't thinking, you know what I mean? Especially on the panel, like with my other people. Right. It was some times where it was like interesting. We all had these interesting perspectives and they would come together and we meet and have the same idea about a person. Right. Where on other times where, it's like it was all based on how the emotion resonated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the thing is, that's the problem, because this, everybody was so unique. That's what makes it. That's what makes it so difficult. Because it's like, how do I compare a point guard to a shooting guard? I always like that example. How do I compare a point guard to a center?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They both play ball, but he plays ball like this and he's nasty at it. He play ball like this and he's nasty at it.
Yeah,
How do you compare them? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just that was dope. Because the dude Flo Tigley was a live performing.
I know that blew my.
That was dope.
I was like saying
I was making the beat on the spot, and then he's like, "What's wrong with you women?" Like, you feel me? Like, yo.
I was behind him, getting my songs ready, and I had to step out and step in front of this dude and just watch him. It was just mind blowing, but that's one of the things I really appreciated about the SoundCloud beat battle, is that everyone was so unique. I was expecting it to be just a bunch of either lo-fi hip hop or trap beats, and I don't really think of myself as a beat maker, because I don't make those types of beats. People say oh, you're a beat maker, oh, what samples do you use? Oh, do you use Contact Machines? I don't use any of that. So I was kind of awkwardly in the corner, oh man, I hope these people like this stuff.
Please give us some more history about who you are, VND, man. Tell them about yourself. Where do you come from? What do you do? How long you been doing it for?
Okay, I guess I'm a producer, a musician. Composer. Yeah, I guess, I don't know if I'd say that. I've had a long history of just being involved in music, especially throughout school. I started singing choir in middle school, doing different choral groups, and then when I got to high school, my dad gave me a bass. I come from a family of musicians too. My dad's a singer, drummer. He gave me his bass, so I started playing bass a little bit, and then
the bass is a dope instrument.
Yeah, I love it.
That's probably one of my favorite instruments, especially the upright bass. That's actually my favorite instrument.
My dad plays bass too. I tried to learn, but I couldn't.
Electric or upright?
He does electric right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
I think one of the most essential parts of a hip hop beat is that bass line. That bass. You know what I mean? Whether it's the 808, whether it's the old school filtered low end bass like you was talking about, or whatever. That's always been one of the core things. Sometimes if you just think about songs like Children's Story by Black Star, it's just drums and a bass line. That's it. There's no melody on top of it.
So I picked up bass, then I joined the jazz band. So now I'm in chorus and jazz
nice.
band.
So you sing?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a lead vocalist, definitely. I sang bass parts.
So you're more like Drake?
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Drake's my spirit animal, I swear.
Yeah. That's dope, yeah.
So I was in jazz, and then I took a couple electronic music, or they call it electronic music, but it was keyboard classes. So I started learning piano. Never took it too far, but it's good to have that knowledge. Yeah. And then from jazz, since I was the bassist in jazz, we played a lot of Charles Mingus. So so researching Charles Mingus.
First of all, Mingus is the man, right?
Come on.
Let's exactly. Let's that first.
I wish Jeremy was here. He'd be so proud, because Jeremy, he was actually part of the school band that we went to.
Yeah.
Jeremy used to play instruments. He still can. That's Jeremy.
Learn something new every day.
Jeremy's one of the most he's one of the most multi-talented people I know.
He's
this nigga used to play
guy.
in the performances. He used to be on the stage in the flute section or in the clarinet section, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean?
Really?
He can play instruments, bro. Jeremy's nice with it.
He's Squidward or something out here playing the clarinet.
Oh man. So researching all that Mingus, I got into upright bass. And while I was learning to play upright bass and jazz, I joined the chamber orchestra.
Oh, word. Here in Boston.
No, in like my
Town.
Yeah, in my town.
What town were you from?
Milton Public Schools.
All right, so Milton Public Schools, did it do you a service?
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So why do people say public school doesn't do them a service?
Boston Public.
Boston Public School. I went to a Boston exam school.
So let's
Boston
talk
Public,
about
whatever.
that. So
Nonsense.
what effect does that have on the community? And have you seen or witnessed that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot different for a suburb.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because I grew up like Milton, like went through all my school in Milton. A lot of my friends like grew up in like different suburbs. And yeah, it's a lot. I took a lot of it for granted. Once I started like getting more involved in like urban cultures, got more friends like from the city. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't have like 5 different bands and like 3 different chamber orchestras and like 20 different choruses?
I'm in the same boat as you because when I was living outside of Philly before I moved here, and like there was so much like to do in school, like different choruses, like band, like music production. I moved here a year after being able to go into an exam school like OB or like BLA, so they threw me in Dorchester High, and they barely had computers.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, like taking it for granted, because like when I was in PA, I should have just done everything. And then when I moved here, I was like, there ain't nothing for me to do.
I went to one of the top 3 schools in Boston. I went to like Latin Academy. That's one of the top 3 high schools in Boston. Ayo, God my witness, when I tell you how old the books were, when I tell you how the paint was chipping off the walls and hitting kids in the head while we in class.
What?
Like,
Wait. You got to tell a story now.
I'll give y'all a good story, right?
A piece of ceiling fell off in front of him.
Yo, I'm talking about like a piece of like paint used to chip off the walls like nobody's business. Nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? Paint was flying. You know what I'm saying? In that school.
Yeah.
It's like just everything was so old and disgusting there. Like, I kid you not, like the books would be tore up and they'd be like, get a book cover. I'm like, for what? Like the book cover can't even go on this. Like it's leaning, like it's sideways. Like what do you how does the book cover go on this? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, you'll figure it out. Like you guys are smart enough. That's why you're here.
That's why you're here.
That's Boston Public School for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the top 3. Look, imagine that. That's one of the top 3. You know what
So
I'm saying?
basically, man, when you look at it, if you have to pay for a good education now, right?
Yeah, that's pretty safe.
Basically,
I mean, like when I went to Dorchester, it was crazy.
You're held to a standard.
Yeah, no, like that. Dorchester High was the first school I saw with a metal detector. Wow. Like the very first, and then there were bars on the windows. Like it's not a joke.
How about all my friends? Because I grew up in Brighton. All my friends went to Brighton. How about Brighton High was a jail?
What?
Brighton High was a jail. Brighton High used to be a jail before it became a high school. Search it up. And that school had metal detectors in it. Yeah. Facts. I have friends that went there. Like I used to get out of Latin Academy, you know what I'm saying, go hop on the 66 from Dudley and then meet them over there in Brighton by the BK. You know what I'm saying? Like this is where I hung out, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in Brighton, so they went to Brighton while I was going to school in Dorchester. And the school I was going to had no metal detectors, none of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in their defense, like when I moved to Jersey, when I moved back to Jersey, they had a metal detector there too. But then they also had like a TV station and a radio station. So I was like, I'll take a metal detector for that all day.
Yeah,
you can't just be patting me down and I have nothing for me to do. Like,
but that's what it is. That's what it is. Exactly. I'm glad you said that. That's exactly what it is. They say they locking you down with nothing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no recreation time. Like, it's really like jail with no recreation, with no library, with no, like, for real, like,
That's funny because that's
crazy.
exactly what it's like.
And this is the thing I want to point out too, like, because this is something that, as habit, we say education. I think there's a big difference between education and schooling. I think there's a huge difference between... You can get your education from anywhere. How did you get schooled? Did you get schooled like a Boston public person? Did you get like publicly schooled, or did you get privately schooled? Because usually the publicly schooled people end up in the cubicles, and the private school people end up as the managers and the supervisors. And the ones who are homeschooled usually be the ones we don't see making all the money.
So how does that affect the music you create?
Oh yeah. So where was I in my like story? Yeah, so like chamber orchestra. Like make a long story short, eventually I picked up percussion, joined the marching band. I was in every department or every branch of the music department. They actually named an award after me in my high school. Yeah, it's called the Kleck Award.
Hey, big up to that. That's pretty cool.
My last name's Kleckley, so they named it like the Kleck Award.
Wow, man, that's legendary. That's legendary.
Yeah, you left a mark on that school.
And like, honestly, it was because like I had so many friends in like so many different parts of the music department. So I was always going to like every music event. Yeah. There were a lot of like people who were just in chorus, they only supported the chorus. People who were just in band just supported the band. But I wanted to be like the avatar of like the music department. So like,
oh man,
there are like specific people in each like branch that like I kind of latched onto and that like kind of taught me like the perspective like instrument and kind of inspired me. So like even like when I got out of like high school and went into college and like eventually picked up trombone. And
you play trombone?
Yeah.
That's an amazing.
I got
a big respect for that because that's a cool instrument.
I respect anybody who can play one instrument.
Yeah,
he played multiple.
Yeah, that's amazing. How many instruments do you play?
Currently, if you count singing.
Yeah, because
I love that. He said singing is an instrument. Get him. Get him.
It is, because it can be used as a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
It's actually the most dynamic instrument.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so singing, bass, electric bass, and trombone are probably the three that I focus on. Yeah, I do keyboards like a little bit, but not too much. So those three.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Like, I got a little keyboard under me too, but like, I don't advertise it.
Yeah. You don't advertise it,
really?
you know?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Someone calls my bluff, then I'm like...
Nah, I don't want people to be like, yo, Tax, our keyboard is called out sick. Can you feel it? I'm like, I'll bring my machine or something. Like,
I'll do this on the machine for you.
Yeah. Once we get in the studio, though, that just means that we're going to see more of that. Because you know what I mean? Because, I mean, once you get the momentum, right, in anything, and you start building more and more, like, confidence and just your ability to create anything, like, literally, like, you create whatever. When you place on yourself that you have these limits, you can't exceed those expectations. Like, you know, I'll share something my boy sent me today that was, like, interesting. It was like limiting beliefs versus empowering beliefs, and like basically, the empowering beliefs are to talk like in the affirmative. So it's like I create my own reality. Life happens for me. I live in abundance. There's always enough. Obstacles help me grow. Starting before I'm ready leads to success. You know what I mean? And the last one is like, if it were easy, everyone would do it. You know, so like always speak in like in abundance. Because if you say obstacles hold me back, you know what I mean? Now you've already created a limited belief in your mind. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, right? Like how that can create new constructs that you set on yourself.
Yeah. I know that's like like just relating that to myself in the keyboard. Since, you know what I mean? That right there. I told myself I don't know how to play the keys, you know what I'm saying? Because I never got official learning. But the more I sat at a keyboard, and I still can't play for nothing. Like, but I have an understanding now. I have a better understanding. You see what I'm saying? And before, it was like Chinese to me. Like, how am I gonna understand this? It's not gonna make no sense. But that was like you said, the construct that you put on yourself.
Yeah, like I remember like when I first really tried to learn like keyboard and piano, like I took like a 2-hour class on music theory, and just when I was just about to get it, they were like, all right, see you guys later. Like, it was just like a one-time class, and I was like, all right. So then years later, like when I started using like Reason and stuff and like learning that, I was like, okay, now I can sit down and learn the keyboard, because like one of our family friends was using Reason, and like he was like the most amazing thing ever to me, like seeing him work in Reason, flip it around, rewire stuff, and then start playing on the keyboard. So I was like, all right, now I need to learn a little bit better, because like, and try to remember what I learned from that like one-time class how many years ago.
Right.
So
was Reason the first program you learned how to make beats on?
Nah, Magic's Music Maker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I never even heard of that.
I know. I was rocking like Sony Acid.
Was that
You use
sold
Acid?
On, was
Yeah,
that
for
sold
like a
on
minute.
Sega?
Nah. They did have like a game of it, but you can find that in like Target and stuff, like Walmart and stuff like that. But now you're thinking of like MTV Music Generator. That was hard too. Like I know people that made some fire off of that. Like for real. Speaking of that though, what was your first program and what do you use now?
My first program, like, was Sony like Acid.
Really?
I used it for like second.
Hey, but it was hot for like a second.
For a second. And like
really?
when I got my Sony laptop, the same one that I have now that I need to replace, but like it came like with the laptop.
I mean, honestly, isn't that where Apple got the idea from?
Probably.
It's arguable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's definitely it. But anyways.
And then like I moved on to Mixcraft. And it was like a nice program, cheap. I still have it. It was like $100 or something. Used that, made like only like 2 things. That was more when I was like playing like bass. So I was doing more like singer-songwriter stuff instead of like electronic music stuff. And then when I got to college, my boy Hollows, who I roll with a lot, he went to high school with me, and like we were in the same chorus. He was like one of the people who like I attached myself to like in chorus. He was using Ableton, and him and his bro Shape Said, like huge like sample guys, they like showed me how to use Ableton. And then it took me like a while to get used to it, and I'm just now being able to say that I found my own style. But like now I use Ableton. I got the push, so I'm like married to Ableton. Like push 2, I just dropped money on it. But yeah, that's what I use primarily.
So you did say like kind of like making like your own mark, like your own kind of style with it. Like describe your music for the listeners.
I guess the first song that I played at the SoundCloud Beat Battle, it's an unreleased track, but like one of the lines in it is like, and I don't even form beats, EDS, electronic dance stories. So that's kind of where my music has been going, because they're more like stories, because they're more like songs that are just electronic instead of like sample-based beats, which is why I don't really say that I'm a beat maker. But yeah, just a lot of like emotions go into my music, which a lot of emotions go into like all music. I can't, unless it's like trash. But yeah, like personal stuff that I go through, I will generally like make a track about. Yeah. So a lot of different feels, I should say.
Well, that's good, because like that's what sets producers and beat makers apart. Like beat makers just make a beat and then send it off, where producers pretty much like direct the direction of where the song is going. So like with you putting different emotions and stuff like that into it, that's more producer work than just beat making. Like beat making for me is like, oh, I can find a sample, throw some drums on it and say, all right, cool, do what you want. Producing is like, hey, all right, we need to bring this out of you. You need to add some strings here, or you need to turn this up here, or drop the beat here so that way what you're saying goes here, you know? So that's kind of why I think definitely you're more of a producer than a beat maker, you know?
Yeah. Funny, funny story. One of like the most like solidifying moments like in my career as a producer. I'm from the Stoughton area, so in the Brockton area there was this like kind of like open mic type thing where like people would like play their beats and like get feedback. So like I had a free night and I was like, I'd like to do more music stuff in like in my area. So I went through, and it was like kind of what I was worried about with the SoundCloud beat battle. It was just like a bunch of like trap beats, beat makers. Like they can sit down, they can like bump out a beat in like 20 minutes. And like I went up to like play my track. It was like a remix that I did with my bro, and it was just like totally different, and like they were critiquing it like it was like a beat like that you would bump out in like 20 minutes. Yeah. And like that's where it was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of different, because they were like playing their beats and then they're like, oh yeah, you should like send it off for like someone to like lay down vocals on it. And I'm like, people do that? Like what? People just give their music to like other people? Like what? And like that was just so foreign to me. Like I would never like have someone else like, or not like have someone else sing, because but like just send out my beat for like someone I didn't know or something to use for their music. And that's kind of where I realized that like my beats are selfish. Like I make them like for me primarily. I share them with people to see if they're rocking with me. Yeah. But like they're kind of like to help me like do with my own stuff.
That's dope. You know, I think what's real ill about it is because like they say music is a language, and then I say the instruments are different dialects. You know what I'm saying? So now you combining different dialects, and you speak in a specific, you speak in a language that represents you through your music, right? And only people who can, like, that's the thing. People who understand beat making, and that's all they understand, you know what I mean, 20 minutes bump out, they might not be able to appreciate because they're not understanding the language. You see what I'm saying? Whereas somebody who does understand music, or who has appreciation, or is a producer, for example, I mean, can at least see the same vision, or like see where you're going with it. Even if they don't understand the dialect, they can understand the gestures and get an idea of what you're saying. You know what I mean? So, which is dope. Like
it's the idea of perceived value and the ability to be a commodity. Right, if your stuff isn't able to be commoditized, you know what I mean, then it somehow begins to lose value. You know what I mean? So the more value you create for an object or an idea, the more it is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, the more it appreciates over time.
Well,
so,
I did one thing that.
What is art, though? One question, though. What is?
Hold on.
Just drop that.
Well, what I will say, one thing that you said that really resonates with me is that you said that your music is very selfish. I'm in the same boat. Anybody at this table can tell you. But I think it's important because, like, if you're not making music for you, then you're like, there's no passion in it. I feel like the thing that sets beat makers apart is that a lot of beat makers just make beats, like, just to make them, and not really like with anything, not part of themselves in mind, you know? Where like I said with you, like you said that, like, you know, you're looking to make stories with your music and stuff like that. And you have to kind of put a lot of yourself into it in order to get something like worthwhile. And yeah, like I said, that resonates with me like crazy because my beats are for me. So. Yeah,
no, I totally understand that. But you know, what time does art, right, like, just become like, is it hobby versus being something that you actually wanted to make success, make you, you know, a legend, or make you marketable, right? Like at the end of the day, you got to make that decision to either monetize this in a way that's going to add value. Otherwise, it's just a hobby.
Well, see, this is the thing that I think, right?
You know?
I think monetizing it doesn't take away from the hobbiness of the music, or doesn't.
Yeah, and it shouldn't. It
shouldn't, right?
It
But
shouldn't.
like, I don't think there's like, see, this is the thing, right? For example, you guys say like you guys make selfish music, right? Now that adds value to your music because anybody who might want it then has to do what? Has to purchase it from you, right? It's not easily accessible or whatever the case is. But now, in like, when people, like for example, I pump out beats, like I'll be like, here, I'll be sending out beats to a whole bunch of people. It's not as appreciated, you know what I'm saying? And when it's not as appreciated, it loses its value, you know what I'm saying? Not that it takes away from the music, you know what I mean? Because I do it out of love, I do it out of a hobby, but I'm not keeping it for myself. I want other people to enjoy it as well and use it to the means that they can use it. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's necessarily that, like, you have to pay for it because it's selfish.
No,
but it's more
not
like
pay
in a
for it.
sense, like, let me put it like this.
It's
like,
value.
Like
That's
Glass House, I didn't make that for anybody but me. I just make you think I made it for you. Like, that entire song is because, like, I want to get to a point where people are singing that to me because I needed to hear that.
Right, but what are you doing in the first place? What you're doing is you're talking to people. You know what I'm saying? You're talking to the people, and the people are receiving it, and now they're talking back to you. You see what I'm saying? Like when they're cheering you on, when they're reciting your lyrics, they're talking back to you like, I'm with you, I feel you, I understand. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's just a way of communicating. But like, what adds value is when you're limiting. Like for example, what makes diamonds so expensive is the rarity, right? So like when you're making music that's selfish, when it's not as accessible, it becomes like something harder to find, and it adds more value to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that.
It adds more value to it. You know what I mean?
Because
So,
I've been performing Glass House for a year and still haven't released it.
right,
So I
right.
get you.
So the reason why I'm saying that is I don't think it takes away from. I think like the monetization part is like when people are making it and they're generous with it, that's their way of the monetization is the selfishness. You know what I'm saying? Whereas people who are not sharing it, the value is the selfish, or the self, you know what I mean? The selfishness is in the value, you know what I mean? Whereas they might monetize it, they might not, but they still have something valuable. You see what I'm saying? Whereas somebody, they might not feel that way, they might want to share it, so they're gonna monetize and be selfish in that manner. Like, well, I'm making these beats and it's taking out my time, so I need to eat too.
Yeah.
Some got to pay this electric bill. You know what I mean? For real.
But I mean, I also have like 3 jobs. So I've put a lot more money into making music than I ever expect to like get back. And like I've bought like an actual legal copy of Ableton, bought like a brand new Push 2 after rocking like an illegal copy of Ableton. Don't sue me, Ableton. And like a cheap like MBK. Because it helps me make music how I want to make music. Because like that whole process is like long and like weird and different every time. So like I don't feel the need to like have to sell my music because I'm getting enough. Like I'm content just being able to say like I made this. Like especially like that like thought came together. When like I made the first beat that like made me cry, like uncontrollably, just like bawl. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this. I don't care like how much money I make out of it. Like I want to do this.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is karma. You're adding that much value into your music, whether you want the money or not, it's gonna come back and it's gonna come back more. You know what I'm saying? It's just how karma works. You know what I mean? Or if it's not going to come back, the money's going to come back in love, blessings, respect, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're seeking is going to come back. That's so dope, man. He said, I never made a beat that made me cry. That's ill to me, man. That's real ill to me. No bullshit. I wish I could do that.
And that beat's like still unreleased. I don't know if I'll ever release it.
So this leads us to a good question. So what do you want your legacy to be as a musician? Shout out to the man Star Trek.
Star
Oh,
Trek.
Star Trek.
DJ
Ow,
Star Trek. What's good?
Who we talking to?
It's on
This is
the
a
VND.
podcast on Future
On the beat
Perfect
battle.
with VND.
Oh, we got to get you on here too, man. We'll talk later though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk later.
Peace.
So I'm
The question
sorry,
you
what
were,
was the
your question you were going.
So, what do you want your legacy to be as a producer?
Just to change. Yeah, kind of like.
What do you want your legacy to be as a producer?
Kind of like change the way people view like EDM. That's why I say like electronic dance stories. Like it doesn't have to have like that 808. It doesn't have to have like those heavy like synths. It can be on the softer side. It can be a little more personal. So I want to like kind of change people's perspective of that. Mm-hmm. But also I just started a collective with a couple of my friends. We're called Flow Motive, and I started that to.
Where do y'all record at?
We're a bunch of like beat makers, so our producers.
Okay. Do you guys put out any tapes together?
We just put out our first compilation.
What's it called?
Flow Motive Volume 1.
Okay. What inspired the name?
Huh?
What inspired the name?
Someone else picked it. They didn't really.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You agreed to it?
Yeah, I agree. Like we all like.
Was it Rollo? That sounds like something Rollo would come up with.
No, we all like suggested like 2 names, and then we had a vote, and like Flow Motive won, and I was like, what does that even mean? And they were like, I forgot like the explanation of it, but like our tagline is many flows but one motive. Because we all make it.
That's what flow motive means.
That's what it means now.
That's dope. That's actually dope.
But I made that collective, or I wanted to form that with my friends because at some point, if it's not with this collective, it'll be with another. But I want to give people who like, kind of like with I Am Because We Are, like I want to give people who wouldn't normally have a chance to like put their music out like a platform, because maybe they don't make like the lo-fi hip-hop, maybe they don't make the banging future bass or the trap, but they want to have their music heard. So I want to like promote that type of music as well.
Dope. I want to definitely link to that Flow Motive Volume 1 in the description for this. And we also have a guest mix from YouTube, but we'll talk a bit more about that a little later. Funny story. So we were chopping it up before we were recording, waiting for everybody else to get in. And I was telling him that, like, because we have a mutual friend, Rollo. He was on an episode, goes by Gecko Thief for gaming stuff.
That was a funny episode. I like that episode.
So I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've been to like one of the East Meets Beats shows, like downstairs at Wonder Bar. And I was like, it was dope. There was this dude that like was walking around with like the controller and like performing with it. He was like, that was me, right? I was like, what? So I went to go see him. I saw him live before I realized it was him. And it was really dope because he's literally walking with like the Ableton Push, like performing. Wow. Yeah, it's really dope.
Yeah, it was a Newmark Orbit. It was like a little handheld thing.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah, it wasn't
like
a huge push.
I think, right? Same concept. Yeah. But it was really dope. It was like this like kind of circular. It was almost like a circular.
Like it's modeled after like a video game controller.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah. Huh. But it was really dope. He's literally like walking around the room like, you know what I mean? Performing with it. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun set. Like my boy Hollow's like Luigi. I don't know if did you meet Luigi at that show?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Him, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Consado.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How does someone get a name like Luigi?
That's his name.
That's like
that's his
Hold on. Does he have glasses?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Interesting name.
I think I know somebody named Luigi. He makes comics.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I met him in UMass. And he's an animal. Like he showed me one comic, and I kept every time I seen him, I was like, "Don't stop."
Did he draw them?
He drew them himself. Like he's amazing.
Yeah, this Luigi doesn't
I
make
can't
comics.
even find him. Yo, if somebody knows my brother out there with the glasses and makes comics, link me with him ASAP. I got some money for him.
Missed connections.
And shout out to Luigi too for reminding me of him. I'm motive out here, baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he pushed me to like play that show, and that was like my first show, and like that was my first show with like all of my like original beats.
Yeah.
Like, and I was just like so proud of myself. I was like, wow, I have like half an hour of music. This is amazing. Meanwhile, you guys are probably over here with like days worth of like music and stuff.
No, it's different, especially like with performing, because like like I keep running back to, like, I'm selfish with my music. So there's a lot of songs I'm like, yo, this song hits, but I can never perform it. Like, it wouldn't work performing it. So I'm like, I got to narrow it down. Like, I can't do, like, there's certain songs I'm like, okay, I know I can't really perform this song, but I really like it. So now I'll go do something else. So, like, even with me now, like, I did, like 3 tapes, and I still have to, like, scramble to figure out what I'm going to fit in, like, a 20-minute set.
No, I dig that. But, all right, so when you think about the next track you put out, right, how is it demonstrated that you've matured, or what's it going to be an emotion of?
Emotionally, it'll be whatever I'm feeling. Because there are tracks that, like, I'll start it, like, the latest track that I released was, like, or 2 with Flow Motive, but, like, my track called Vacation, I started that, like, last year. And, like, it was a specific, because I was, like, very stressed out, and, like, I needed a vacation.
That's real.
But, like, I started it, and then as, like, my mood got better, I couldn't, like, continue with that vibe because, like, other vibes started showing up. So I started making, like, other music. But then, like, Busy Seeds and, like, at work started rolling around again. Like, a lot of stuff's been happening. So I've been, like, in that mood again. So I was like, this is the time I got to finish this. And I finished it, like, just in time for the Flow Motive release. So that track right there, it's kind of like a year's worth of, like, thought, reflection, and, like, emotions. And it kind of goes through some, like, different feels. Like, a lot of my tracks, like, they'll go through, like, transitions, like, in the song. Like, I played my one track, Loser, and then, like, at the SoundCloud beep out, and it was, like, a hard, like boom bap in the beginning, and then, like, switched to, like, Latin, because I was, like, feeling it. So I just do that a lot, because, like, I have a lot of feels. So, like,
When I'm telling you, VND set could have helped 10 people get in for free, because I left the door and I ran upstairs. I'm not joking. Like, I just was like, I'm out. I gotta see this. What's going on up there? And 10 people could have got in for free. I would have known. I was in the crowd, like, amazed. Especially with the switch ups. Like, that takes a real knowledge of music. You know what I'm saying?
So who are your top 3 artists of all time?
And then top 3 producers of all time.
And then top 3 hype men.
Hey, have y'all heard that
Split
song?
Star, son.
Have y'all heard that song by Omen called Big Shadows?
Nah, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, Big Shadows. It's on his album called Elephant Eyes. He talks about, like, his chorus is about all the sidekicks and basically how he doesn't want to be a sidekick. J. Cole, right? Like, he's his own person. Like, he talks about the comparisons between AZ and Nas. In the track, he talks about, like, in his hook, he named all of the best hype men we all remember. Like, I feel like we gotta definitely take a moment if y'all haven't heard that song and listen to that song. But that song's a dope track. But he talks about that. Yeah. But feeling like you want that.
I'm sorry. Don't you ever call AZ a hype man if that's what you're trying to say? Because
Oh, fuck no.
okay. Okay. AZ, that's my guy.
And I mean, AZ is classic. AZ is legend in his own way. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, everyone.
Hey, not too many people get to be in the Dead President's video at the table playing Monopoly with Biggie and Jay-Z. But AZ was there. Yeah. But nah, yeah, back to you, my brother. Your top 3 artists, top 3 producers. We gave you some time to think about it, too.
I know. I was thinking about it while you were like...
Brought you some ties.
I know.
What you got?
Take your time. I can edit it down if need be.
That's, like, such a hard question because, like, I only recently started listening to, like, electronic music. I only recently started listening to hip hop. I grew up, like, listening to, like, indie rock and, like, punk. And then, like, I got into, like, a little bit of metal for, like, a second. And then, like, hard switched jazz for, like, years. And then that's when I got into, like, hip hop. and like electronic music from there. So like my iPod on shuffle is wild, bro. Like if I had to pick a top 3,
And it doesn't have to be hip hop.
It could be all time.
Yeah,
All time.
Of any type of genre, like just, or maybe I think, and when
Look,
I say to
I'll
the ones who
help
inspired you the most, you know,
I'll help
inspired
you out
the
here.
most.
So, just a thought starter for me. When I think about one top 5 a song that makes me think about a specific moment, right? So one moment that you can always attach a song to. And what made me feel the best about myself, right? That's a good criteria for finding your top 3 songs. You know what I mean? Top 3 artists, right? So here's mine. Bob Marley, 3 Little Birds. Every time I hear that song, it takes me to a place of feeling just happiness. You know what I mean? Next song would definitely have to be Black Thought, Knowledge of Self, with Talib Kweli and Vahina Mojica. Yeah, like that would be number 2. Number 3 would definitely have to be Master P, yo. Make them say, yo.
Oh, that was a classic.
Wow.
Classic.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Hey, everybody remembers that track. You know what I mean? That beat was just so, and then it was like a 13-minute track, right? Like, cause everybody on No Limit was on the track. They had radio edit after radio edit after radio edit after radio. Everybody was eating on that. Everybody, you know
Yeah,
what
the whole
I mean?
New Orleans is on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody. I wouldn't even be surprised if BG won on one of those tracks, if I can remember correctly. Like, everybody was eating on that one track. You know what I mean? And I'm just wondering, yeah, that definitely, because it was the first time when I came back to the States that I had heard hip hop too. When I moved to Virginia, that track was like the new track, and when it dropped, like everybody was rocking that joint, especially if you play football.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Man, it was just like it was it. Like everybody would
Make
play
them
that.
say,
Na, 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 na. You would hear like football teams chanting that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, in the pregame, right? Like, so it was just like it was a cultural thing, I guess. You know.
The reason why that song always stuck with me is because my brother used to do the Chewbacca sound.
Yeah.
So he's like, make him say, so that shit used to have me dying as a little kid. You feel me? Like, that's why I used to do the Chewbacca like.
Oh my gosh. I'm still over here thinking of my top 3, man.
Yo, it's a tough question.
Yeah, I think because there's a difference between like my top artist and the artists that influenced me the most.
Well, let's go with the influencer.
Okay, artists that influenced me the most. The artists that got me, like, I guess, into rapping, which eventually got me into producing, probably Vic Mensa.
Really?
Number 1, yeah.
Huh.
Internet tape, like, I think
Interesting choice.
I think that's
Why
still
Vic
like.
Mensa? I gotta hear this. That's a very interesting name, gentlemen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like
May we speak on that?
Yeah, let's do it.
You know?
I haven't I got into Vic Mensa because like Chance had like just kind of like blown up, and like Save Money was like on the come up, and like I heard like Cocoa Butter Kisses, and I heard like Vic's verse, and I was like, yo, like that was like a sick flow. So I listened to like.
Was that your first experience with hip hop, or is this your best experience?
Probably my best experience. My first experience was The Roots.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. My friend.
That's a graduation. You know what I mean? And just styles.
You said I
right?
started in 12th grade.
You know, but think about it. Just that's a graduation in styles. Black Thought, who's bar for bar, probably, arguably the best rapper of all time. Right?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
One
You know
of them,
what I mean?
definitely.
Easily.
You know what I mean? Like-
one of them, yeah.
one of them.
I mean, between
I don't-
him and Tax.
When can you?
You
when
said him and who?
Between him and Tax, you know.
They fighting for second. They fighting for second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Profit out here, baby. No, sir. But nah, Black Thought's that artist that nobody wants. Like, you would never want to battle Black Thought. You never want. I will battle Nas before I battle Black Thought.
Right.
What's up?
Right.
I'll say that confidently.
Right. I'd battle Royce before I battle Black Thought.
That's a nice one. I would never battle Black Thought, period. So,
You know what I mean?
I'm not battling Royce either. Shit.
I mean, but you got a better chance of maybe swinging and getting and you know
Throwing a
getting
couple.
the uppercut.
I mean, I'll give it to Royce. I'll give it to anybody. Like, and I'm not saying that to Royce. I'll give it to anybody. Like, that's my mentality as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Respect to it.
Yeah.
But Black Thought is just that one artist nobody wants to battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
real
the fact
talk.
that you started with the Roots, you started with one of the best lyricists.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
hip-hop.
my-
Look,
Aside,
that's-
and you understand instrumentation. That's amazing.
That's true. But now it's graduated to Vic Mensa, who arguably is less, you know, lyrical than a Black Thought, right? Or is it a different day and time, right? There's
Yeah, just
controversy
different. Yeah.
about his style and who he is. You know what I mean? So is that something that of why he could have picked that first? You know what I mean?
And when I say Vic Mensa, I'm talking like his first two like releases, like straight up in like internet tape. I still like haven't brought myself to listen to like his newer stuff just because like I hear so much like backlash on his name now. Cause like after like hip hop, when I got into EDM, I like fell off like catching up on like all my artists and stuff. But yeah, like I got lost in his music. The way I hadn't got lost in like music since I got lost in like some of my favorite jazz artists, like Joe Henderson, Charles Mingus, Davis, of course. And like he was the first like rapper I wanted to like have more of a sound more like, with like the way he like snuck in his melodies in there, and like some of his like references. So it was just like, so that's how he got me like into like music, or hip hop, I should say. And same with, it was between like internet tape and Childish Gambino's Because the Internet. Those.
So is that number 2, Childish Gambino? Not of all time, or just of hip hop?
Not of all time. Influences.
Okay.
In hip hop, at
Influences
least.
in hip hop.
Childish Gambino, a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
So why is he someone that you feel good about? You know, when you I mean, because that's an interesting choice, considering, again, there's a sort of an evolution in hip hop and the choices that you selected.
Yeah.
Could they have been legends during the time of a Black Thought?
Definitely. I'm definitely more of like a new school guy. While like of course I bump Illmatic like regularly. I bump like De La Soul, but like
That's cool.
but on an emotional like vibe, I feel like more in tune with like just new school, with like Childish Gambino and like internet tape and all that. Tokyo.
Interesting.
So yeah, like the new guys on the come up, I feel more in tune with. I really can't explain why, but I just do. Maybe it's just because of like their sound
Yeah.
that I'm feeling more of.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. I mean, they've definitely taken let's just say taken the game by the horns and run.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the older guys are aging out. You know what I mean? Like Jay is close to what? He like 45, 46?
I think he's like 50s, right? No.
Like he's getting there.
He's getting there.
I mean, you know, and at the same
this
time,
is probably like one of his last tours.
yeah.
You know?
You're gonna need to be on the wheelchair after this.
Exactly.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like different things resonate with different people in different ways. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I can't explain why I like certain people. You know, I like Childish Gambino, but I can't like I wouldn't. Me personally, like I wouldn't put him in my top, but I can understand why people would.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I can understand why, but I personally wouldn't, because you know what I mean. It just doesn't resonate with me the same way.
Yeah, but apart from like those two, I guess
Hey,
the
shout
other.
out to Rexy 45, man. Shout out to Rex
Yo,
45.
Rexy 45, get me on your show. But apart from like hip hop influences, artists that have or bands that have influenced my style, like a band like Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. Oh, they were pretty good.
Yeah,
I actually love Coheed and Cambria.
yeah.
They got a really just like it's kind of like ambient rock in a way.
I think they're like progressive rock is like their genre. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like the way they like take a song and like take you through this whole journey, like in that song and like their instrumentation, I was like, yo, this is dope. So they're like one of the bands that like I do have their whole discography. And besides them, the small like indie folk rock band called the Oh Hellos, because like if EDM like doesn't do it for me, I swear I'm getting an indie folk rock band, like no doubt, because folk rock, like can we just talk about folk rock? You have like this band. I write like every once in a while I write music reviews for this blog called Frost Click, and
Really? What is it called?
it's called Frost
Oh, you
Click.
can't just say it like, oh yeah, I just do. That's major right there.
I like don't do it as much anymore, but
So you write blogs for what website again?
it's called Frost Click. It's like they promote like free music and like free content, and I've been doing that for like a little while. So like I reviewed one of their like later albums. That's when I like really got into them. And like it's just like this big group, like 8-10 people, and like watching them like perform live and like doing their like stomp clapping thing, like yo, I get shivers, man. Like I just want to like do some stomp clapping. Just like get a group of like I'm gonna just get a group of my friends and just like do stomp clapping for like a beat. I swear, it's just like
That's gonna be dope.
so that kind of energy, like kind of like influenced me, like got me hyped to like make a like energetic beat. So like I get influences from like weird places.
That's dope, man. I think I know for myself, I learned a lot more about you through this. What I will say though is that we really didn't do our job as journalists because we didn't ask, how did you come up with your name?
Oh,
That was like question one. We should have came out the gate.
VND stands for Vid, not Dave. My name is David. I just don't like being called Dave. It's pretty simple. I believe there's like a lot in a name, so I prefer it to be, if you don't call me like Vid, if you don't call me VND, just call me by my full name, David. Because like, especially in this like progressive culture, people get like so tied up with pronouns, but like, and I'm with that too. Like, I'll call you by what you want to be called. Call me by what I want to be called. Don't call me Dave.
Yeah.
Vid, not Dave.
Yeah.
And I shortened it to VND because that sounds cooler.
It does sound cool. It's smooth.
That's
VND.
That's very
You can hear that with the like a sexy chicks like saying that in your voice chat. VND.
Yeah, get like an Italian chick or something like that. That'd be hard. Yeah.
Get you an Ethiopian chick.
Yeah. Up from Djibouti. Yeah, you know what I
It's a
mean?
wrap. Did not live. Oh, we rap.
Taking auditions for my tagline.
No, really quick, because we're going to let some time rock in the episode for the music you prepared for it too. Is there anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Just my music is very emotional. I try and bring out other people's emotions too. But there's not much more. Yeah, this is a tough question. I didn't prepare for this. I will say that if you are a producer, if you are like a beat maker or a musician, and you're like kind of shy about putting your music out there because you think like, oh, it's not like good enough. It's not like this other person's music. Besides like holding you back, that doesn't allow other people to hear you. That doesn't allow other people to be influenced by you. So, putting music out, if you want to put music out but like are scared, you just gotta make that jump. Because like I remember I did like this like mix with like different producers from Boston, and like there was like a criteria for the beat, and we submitted our beats. Like people, they did their regular like, sample based beats, like trap based beats. I made a beat about a cat because like my friend told me a story about how they found like this stray cat, like these two stray cats, and then like one of them died, and like I got emotional, I cried. And then I made a beat about that cat. I used a cat sample. That beat's actually on Flow Motive Volume 1. Check it out.
What is it called?
Stray.
Stray.
Yeah.
Oh, for the stray. That's fire.
And it's like, what is this? Who's the producer like making this beats about a cat? Like, well, it's like, that's what I felt. That's my emotions. That's my music. Take it or leave it. Because if I get 0 plays, if I get 10,000 plays, which if I ever get 10,000 plays, I'm gonna flip. But even if I like,
If you believe.
Yeah, but if I get,
You gotta remove the limiting construct.
but also like people will take like putting out music as like, oh, nothing if I don't like hit like a K. But like, no, you are something, even if you hit like 10 plays. Yeah. And that's what I want to leave with people. You are something.
I really appreciate all the depth that you brought to this conversation.
Yeah,
really do.
Yeah, you a brother, man, that has a good spirit that you put in your music. Like going back to bringing this full circle for me. What I told you about what I heard when I heard your beats, you know what I mean? Like I feel like it now makes sense even more from a 360 perspective. You know? So that's cool, man. You're gonna be very successful as long as you keep your mind focused on what that is that you desire, and that being very, very clear, right?
Yeah.
Very, very clear to the point where you see it when you daydream, So I think you're gonna be great. You're gonna be great.
Thank you guys.
Music's amazing. Dope person, you know what I'm saying? Unorthodox. Yeah, I gotta check him out, man. VND for real.
Before we get into the mix you prepared for us, where can we follow you?
Yes, my music is on SoundCloud at VidNotDave, VIDNOTDAVE. That will pull me right up. I also just made an Instagram too at VidNotDave, and I'm on Facebook too. I gotta start posting on Instagram, so it's a little bare right now, but yeah, I'll get that popping. I am technically on Spotify, but like slow right now. VND on Spotify. But yeah, my collective is Flow Motive. SoundCloud at We Are Flow Motive. UEAREFLOWMOTIVE. All one word, all lowercase.
Fire.
Oh, that's my catchphrase, actually.
I know, I've been listening to the show.
I almost fell out my seat.
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram too. We Are Flow Motive. And we just dropped our first release, so cop it. It's free on Bandcamp.
Dope. So we're going to link to that and then your mix as well. We're going to get into that right after this. It's also going to be in the description. Really quick, everybody else, let's just go through how they can reach us, and we'll sign out.
You can find me at Byron the Poet on IG or on Twitter.
SoundCloud and Instagram, Prophet, PROPHET is Percussion, PERCUSSION. Snapchat, Twitter, Prophet PROPHET_617. Get at me.
Word. So again, I say this every episode, but we're gonna do it again. FuturePerfect.blog is your number one source for music, movies, gaming. We're still working on that sports aspect.
You'll get me for that show, son.
and all other dope content. You can follow us at official Future Perfect everywhere. And then also you can follow me at Luxury Tax, LUXURYTAKZ, all lowercase, all one word. That's everywhere. Again, thank you, VND, for coming through. Really appreciate it. There's a lot of dope conversation.
Honestly, this has been a great convo, bro.
Yeah.
A great convo.
It's been a pleasure, for real. Like, it was a pleasure watching you at the beat battle. It's a pleasure to do this, for real.
Yeah, you have to have me on again.
Nothing but success, man.
Thank you.
Nothing but success going forward.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so for the listeners at home, you're going to get into the sounds of VND, and for us, we're going to get out of here. So, are we all in a good place?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Peace.
All righty.
Got me acting like I need a vacation. Stressed out, nights in the sun. 90 long days, been awake the whole season. Can't sleep, cause I'm new to this anxiety. So you can tell the doc to keep an eye on me, and to help me be a member of the society. So it can butter me up and then lie to me. And you can tell them I just want some peace. And if they don't have that, I'll just take some sleep. Cause there's a Charlie horse in my dreams, of course. Hard drive's not the only thing with too many keys. So you can catch me with the bands, and like, oh no, he's gone, and we gotta save him. Nah, a kid just needs to get away some. Y'all got me acting like I need a vacation. Real talk.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Daddy's rich and your mama's good looking. and you'll take to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing can harm you. With daddy and mommy standing by.
Go.
wings to carry me. I don't know freedom. I want my dreams to rescue me. I keep my faith strong. I ask the Lord to follow me. I've been unfaithful. I don't know why you call on me.
Cheer up, Plankton. I think you're a winner. sound.